You have an event here on the 16th.
Yeah, February 16th, we'll be in Long Beach, California. Lights Out Xtreme Fighting 14. You can get all your information at lightsoutxcept.com. We'll be live on Fubo TV, Fubo Sports. If you guys don't have Fubo, make sure you get it. But this one's our biggest and most explosive card we've had in the history of the company. I do really believe we got a couple guys in this card that'll end up in the UFC at some point.
What made you get involved in the mixed martial arts world?
I started training, man, back in 2000, between 2005 and 2006, that offseason, man. I literally wanted to do it, just get my hands better, get more violent, get more active with my hands. Being outside linebacker and pass rusher, I was told that it can help. I did, and I just fell in love with the sport, man. I started training with all the big name guys every offseason. I'll get in there, and every offseason I'll just pick up the pace a little bit. I started sparring, doing more on the ground and jiu-jitsu, and just start, getting more involved in it, man. But ultimately, I do think that most, if not all, retired athletes should pick up some discipline. I'm a big fan of that. I even still nowadays, I'll go spar once in a while. I'll have an open mat, go in there and get some work. But it just keeps you disciplined. I ended up launching Lights Out Xtreme Fighting in 2019. We got hit with the pandemic where we shut down for about 2 years, almost of it. So the restart of it on Fubo, we are now like top 5 or top 6 or something like that, most watched on Fubo Sports. And so the viewership has been great. But that's more importantly because the fans out there, they love what they're doing. They loving these fights, man. This last fight, our main event, was probably one of the best main events I've ever seen in MMA fights ever. Like in all fights. We had one of the best finishers, and people keep coming out, man. We sell out crowds, and it's no different from this fight coming up February 16th. We actually, on that flyer, you see the guy with the belt across his chest. That's Tom Yaron. That's Tony Ferguson's guy. The guy on the right of him is Abu Morales. He fought in the UFC for a bit. He's fighting for us, trying to get back to the UFC. We got AJ Hodgkins on this opening the card up that night, former linebacker, went linebacker for Oregon. So we're stacked up, man. We got a staff on this one.
Now, did you watch the UFC fights this past weekend?
I did, yeah.
I thought Strickland got absolutely robbed. I think he got robbed. He had the jab working. He completely shut out Duplessis. He shut his eye. And I thought it was a very close fight. It was very close. I felt like obviously Strickland got taken down a couple of times in the fight, and I think that was the reason why he lost the fight. But all in all, I thought Strickland, if anything, was a draw, then it was a Duplessis win.
I'm with you. I thought it was a draw at best. But I got this understanding, like if someone's a champ, you gotta be so convincing in your win to take the belt from them. It can't be a 50-50. It can't go the other way. If you're gonna take the belt from somebody, you gotta dominate them. Mm-hmm. That's my feeling when it comes to championship fights. The belt doesn't go anywhere unless you dominate them, and it's so convincing that it wasn't a close fight. But if it's somewhere close, you make it a draw and you get these guys to go at it again. But you can't. It can't be I don't know if this guy won, and take the belt from a guy that it could have gone either way, right? You got to really take the belt from the champ.
And it's Duplessis, okay? So I always mess up his name when I'm speaking and everything. And I think because he was South African, he's the first South African to fight for a title and win a title. I think the UFC wanted to bring in more fans, and I think that's the draw, to have him. And he'll fight Strickland again, and I think it'll be a great fight. I was shocked. But who's your favorite fighter right now in the UFC? What stands out? Is it O'Malley? What Leon Edwards? Who is it?
I'm a big fan of obviously Connor, but he hasn't fought in a while. Right behind him, I would say Izzy. Mm-hmm. Izzy's up there. But I know all these guys, man. I train at the gym with Strickland, and Curtis is in there all the time. And I see these guys on a regular basis. But I really enjoy watching Izzy fight.
I love the wrestling, and I think that some of these guys don't understand it. Everybody keeps talking about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and all the judo and Muay Thai, everything that they're learning, but wrestling is the core. If you're a good wrestler and you know how to shoot in Greco-Roman wrestling, you're going to be you have a good technique, and you could start off. You don't have to be a good person. I've seen technically a wrestler completely dominated a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And I think that's so important. And that's why I like Alexander Volkanovski. I think he's one of the more underrated fighters in the UFC. He'll fight you. It doesn't matter if it's 2 weeks. He'll fight you in different weight classes. I love him. I think he's a special fighter and one of the best wrestlers I've seen in a very long time.
No question.